Hello, dreamers. Welcome back to Dreams of Tomorrow. Today, today we leave our blue planet behind. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a world buried beneath miles of ice. A world where sunlight never reaches, yet life thrives in secret. A place where oceans of liquid water, warmed by tidal forces and hidden geothermal vents, harbor cities you've only dared to imagine. This is Europa. I want to know where you're joining from tonight. Are you perched by your window, staring at the moon? Or are you on a crowded train, hiding earbuds, stealing moments of imagination? Go ahead, leave a comment, tell me where you are, because in the next hour, you won't just watch a story, you will live it. And now, we descend. Breaking the ice. The journey begins on the surface, where Europa's crust stretches endlessly. A landscape of frozen plains, jagged ridges, and chaotic ice flows. From above, the ice seems solid, impenetrable, but beneath, warmth pulses. Oceans churn, currents dance unseen. We enter the first hatch, a cylindrical tube drilled by the Europa surveyor. Cold air greets us, stinging, biting, but soon the chill is replaced by the hum of energy, the subtle vibrations of a city hidden underneath kilometers of ice. I step into the first corridor. Walls of reinforced ice glass shimmer with embedded lights, illuminating the paths beneath. It's strange, beautiful. You can see the faint glow of bioluminescent algae drifting in the water outside. The city is alive, not in the way we know cities to be alive with cars and streets, but in a slow, undulating pulse. The currents carry whispers, murmurs of Europa itself. I pause and address you, my companions in curiosity. Can you feel it too? The vibration under your feet, the cold turning slowly into warmth, the faint smell of saline and minerals carried by pressurized air. Life adapts differently here. Structures curve organically, mimicking the water currents above. Tunnels branch like coral reefs, leading to chambers that house research pods, living quarters, and marketplaces for trade of essential resources, minerals, energy cells, and the rare luminescent flora grown in hydroponic gardens. You might wonder, how do they say? Light here is scarce, but the inhabitants, humans and hybrids, engineered for survival, have adapted. Eyes sensitive to the blue-green spectrum, skin that thrives in cold humidity, lungs that process both air and fine mist from the ocean spray. And that sound? The sound of Europa's ocean is ever present, a gentle, rhythmic heartbeat beneath the ice. As we move deeper, the city's architecture becomes more intricate. Towers curve upward, held in tension by ice and magnetic fields. Bridges arc above submerged channels. Schools of genetically enhanced fish dart beneath transparent walkways. Everything seems fragile, and yet impossibly enduring. Morning rituals in the depths. Morning here is measured not by the sun, but by the pulse of the ocean and the hum of geothermal generators. I walk past sleeping quarters where families huddle in warm hydrogel pods. Children with silvered hair twitch and dream, their neural implants syncing with the city's energy grid. They wake slowly, stretching against gravity, slightly weaker than Earth's. Here, every breath carries the taste of saline and faint minerals. Europa's ocean is not just water, it is nourishment. The inhabitants greet me with subtle gestures, nods, slight bows, eyes glowing faintly in acknowledgement. Their voices are low, melodic, almost echoing in the ice chambers. Conversations are a mix of languages, a hybrid developed over decades of isolation. Each word is chosen carefully. Miscommunication can be fatal when oxygen and heat are scarce. I pause at the communal kitchens. Here, food is synthesized from algae, minerals, and engineered proteins. There's a ritual to preparation. Hands hover over nutrient trays, selecting carefully. No one wastes. Survival is art. I take a sample, soft, warm, tasting faintly of salt and sweet minerals. By mid-morning, the city is awake. Light pulses along walkways, synchronized with tidal rhythms. Engineers descend into hydrothermal vents, repairing energy conduits. Children train in zero-gravity playgrounds, their laughter a sharp contrast to the silent hum outside. Everywhere, life is an adaptive dance. And you, dear dreamer, can you feel the rhythm of a city that has never known the sun? Can you imagine a life governed entirely by the tides beneath miles of ice? The ocean beneath. We enter the submarine docks. Hulls of research vessels glimmer faintly. Outside, the ocean stretches into darkness. The water is warm from tidal heating, teeming with creatures engineered to survive in pressures and chemistries we can barely understand. Our vessel hums to life, its magnetic engines vibrating the ice. We descend through narrow tunnels into the deep ocean. Bioluminescent creatures swirl like living constellations, illuminating the dark. Schools of translucent fish, some large as cars, move in synchronized harmony. You feel small, very small. The scientists aboard explain the ecosystem. Algae farms float in thermal vents, feeding higher organisms. Predators, both natural and engineered, patrol the depths. Every organism has a purpose, a balance. It's beautiful, terrifying, delicate. I glance at the crew. Their faces are pale, reflective, almost serene. Europa has a way of humbling humans quickly. Even the strongest egos shrink under the weight of eternal ice and infinite water. And I turn to you again. If you could dive here, would you feel fear or awe? Could you imagine navigating in a world where every step, every breath carries the risk of crushing pressure or sudden cold? The ocean beneath Europa is not just water, it is history, energy, life, and memory, coiled in currents that have flowed for millions of years, hidden from our sun, hidden from earth. The market of light. Returning to the city, we enter the market of light. It is the heart of civilization here. Stalls glow with bioluminescent lamps. Merchants trade hydrogel, engineered algae, energy cells, and knowledge. An unusual currency. Here, information is more valuable than gold. A map of currents, a new algae strain, or a blueprint for better oxygen recycling can shift power between districts. Children wade through narrow aisles, eyes reflecting the glow of light panels. Elders sit on ice-carved benches, trading stories and melodic tunes that resonate like underwater bells. The market smells of minerals, salted air, and faint sweetness from synthesized fruits. I buy a vial of phosphorescent algae, and the merchant smiles knowingly. The glow warms my hand. Europe has magic, distilled in liquid. I pause to address you. Could you navigate such a market? A market without clocks, without sunlight, where every transaction is measured in energy, knowledge, and trust. Here, alliances are forged not in boardrooms, but in whispers, in careful glances, in shared understanding of life beneath eyes. Every deal, every barter carries the weight of survival. Science at the edge. The laboratories hum with quiet intensity. Here, beneath kilometers of ice, humanity pushes boundaries. Scientists in sleek suits monitor thermal vents, scan bioluminescent organisms, and probe the waters for chemical anomalies. I step into a research hub where the walls are transparent ice, revealing the ocean outside. Currents swirl, carrying strange shapes, shadows that could be creatures or perhaps only illusions. Instruments record every pulse of energy, every flicker of movement. In Europa's depths, even the tiniest signal can be a revelation. One scientist, her eyes reflecting the pale light of algae panels, explains, "We study life as it might have been or could be." She gestures towards a floating colony of microorganisms that thrive in near freezing water. They generate energy, process minerals, even communicate in patterns detectable only by sensitive instruments. We move to the next chamber, a genetic garden. Bioluminescent flora thrives here, not by sunlight but by chemical energy and faint electric currents drawn from Europa's tides. Each plant glows softly, like lanterns marking the pathways of an underwater city. I touch one, and it pulses against my fingers. Alive, but unlike any life I have known. I turn to you again, viewers. If you could step into this lab, would you marvel or fear? Could you imagine a place where even the most basic life forms hold secrets humanity has never glimpsed before? Science here is more than discovery. It is survival. Every experiment, every observation ensures the city endures. Its inhabitants adapt, and its mysteries remain unbroken. The flow of commerce and connection. Beyond the labs, life continues in the communal spaces. Europa's inhabitants move with a grace learned over decades of low gravity. Their bodies efficient, their movements deliberate. The city's economy is unique. Energy, knowledge, and biological innovations are exchanged as currency. A new algae variant could be more valuable than precious metals. A blueprint for oxygen purification could change an entire district's power balance. And yet, despite the scarcity-driven system, there is art, laughter, and occasional chaos. I wander into a workshop where artisans shape minerals into delicate ornaments, their tools humming faintly, powered by the city's geothermal grid. Each creation reflects the currents above, mimicking waves, tides, and the rhythm of life beneath the ice. And here, once more, I ask you, could you live in a place where the value is not dictated by numbers or land, but by knowledge and adaptability? Where trust, innovation, and subtlety govern daily survival? Comment if you think you could thrive here, or if the thought fills you with awe and fear alike. Even routine tasks are poetry. Food is cultivated, energy managed, and air purified with the care of a ritual. Everything is connected. Every action resonates through the city's fragile ecosystem. One mistake, one misstep can ripple outward in consequences we can barely imagine. Education in the shadows. Children learn differently here. There are no classrooms with sunlit windows, no playgrounds under the sky. Education is immersion, exploration, and adaptation. I follow a group of young learners through a chamber where bioluminescent algae serve as interactive learning tools. They study ocean currents, thermal flows, and genetic structures of deep sea organisms. Lessons are hands-on, integrated with the environment. Mist from the ocean condenses in the air, carrying nutrients and life lessons alike. The educators, humans adapted for life beneath ice, speak slowly, their voices melodic, resonating in the corridors. Every instruction carries layers of meaning, practical knowledge, ethical guidance, and an understanding of life's fragility. At the edge of a tunnel, I notice a child pausing, fingertips grazing the ice. She watches shadows of fish and glowing creatures swirl outside. Here, learning is not just reading or memorizing, it is observation, intuition, and connection with the unseen rhythms of the ocean. I glance at you, viewers. Can you imagine learning in a city without daylight? Where education is survival and wonder intertwined? Could your mind adjust to knowledge delivered by currents, bioluminescence, and whispered guidance rather than chalkboards and screens? Art beneath the ice. Even here, art survives, perhaps because life is scarce, fragile, and fleeting. Creativity becomes essential. I enter an amphitheater carved into the ice. Musicians play instruments that mimic the sounds of the ocean. Low frequency hums, gliding vibrations, and clicks that echo through water and ice alike. Light pulses in tandem, painting the walls in shifting blue and green patterns. Artists display murals etched into transparent ice panels, depicting life above and below. One painting shows Europa from space, a moon of ice with hidden worlds beneath. Another illustrates deep-sea creatures with flowing, ethereal forms, capturing their movement in a frozen instant. I approach an ice sculptor, a young woman with eyes like polished silver. She molds a glowing mineral into a shape reminiscent of the currents outside. The sculpture hums faintly, resonating with the vibrations of the ocean. It is both creation and tribute, art and science intertwined. I turn to you, viewers. If you could witness this, would you feel inspiration or insignificance? In Europa's depths, art is not decoration. It is expression, communication, and survival. It teaches history, encodes data, and sustains morale. Dangers and shadows. No city is without danger, and beneath Europa's eyes, threats are both natural and engineered. I walk through a monitoring station. Screens flicker with data. Sudden shifts in currents, pressure anomalies, and unusual thermal spikes. Sometimes the ocean itself becomes a predator. Deep-sea predators, enhanced or evolved for survival, patrol in silence. Rarely they breach near settlements, their size immense, their presence terrifying. Engineers prepare defensive protocols, magnetic fields, pressure barriers, and automated drones guard the tunnels and chambers. Every inhabitant knows the signs of danger. vibrations in the walls, shifts in the hum of the ocean, faint changes in watercolor. I look at you viewers and ask, could you survive in a world where every step carries risk? Where life is governed by awareness, adaptation, and instinct? Where comfort is temporary and curiosity may lure you toward peril. And yet, in danger, Europa's people have found resilience, cooperation, preparation, and knowledge form the backbone of survival. They are not just inhabitants, they are symbionts with the moon itself. Evening currents. As the day wanes, though the concept of day is abstract beneath eyes, the city slows. Bioluminescent lights dim to match tidal patterns. Currents carry nutrients, energy pulses synchronize, and the ocean hum softens into a lullaby. Families gather in communal chambers. Children tell stories of ocean creatures, humans, and hybrids. Elders speak of history, past expeditions, and lessons learned from mistakes. Music fills the corridors, and laughter echoes faintly, bouncing against ice walls. I sit beside a pool where thermal vents feed tiny glowing organisms. Their rhythm is calming, hypnotic. Watching them, I realize life here is a meditation, a practice in endurance, observation, and connection. And I ask you, dear viewers, could you find peace in the depths, in the quiet companionship of currents, creatures, and communities? Could you discover a life meaningful without sunlight, yet full of wonder? Nightfall beneath ice. Night is a concept borrowed from Earth, yet here it has its own rhythm. The city's lights dim further. Algae lamps pulse slowly, creating a dreamlike glow. The ocean beyond the ice is a black mirror, reflecting the interior glow. Sleep is practiced in pods with adaptive temperature, pressure, and oxygen levels. Dreams are enhanced by subtle neural guidance, syncing with currents and bioluminescence. Inhabitants dream of the surface, of Earth, of exploration, and sometimes of home. I wander through sleeping chambers, whispering goodnight to children who will awaken in hours, aligned with tidal cycles. Outside, the ocean moves silently, carrying life through hidden valleys and tunnels, beyond human vision, yet intimately connected to every heartbeat below the ice. I ask you once more, could you sleep in a world so alien, yet intimately alive? Could your dreams stretch to include an ocean hidden beneath ice, cities thriving in darkness, and creatures you cannot imagine? Reflections and farewell. As I prepare to leave, I pause on a transparent walkway. Below, currents flow endlessly, carrying life light, and energy. The city is quiet now, alive in its own subtle rhythm. I think of the people I've met: scientists, artisans, children, and elders, all adapted, all resilient. They teach us a lesson Earth sometimes forgets: that life is not only about sunlight and air, but about connection, adaptation, and harmony with the world you inhabit, no matter how alien. I turn to you, viewers. For the last time tonight, what will you carry from this journey? A sense of wonder? A shiver at the thoughts of hidden oceans? A curiosity that stretches your imagination? Comment below. Where are you now, and what did Europa teach you? The hatch closes behind me. I ascend toward the frozen surface, the hum of the city fading, replaced once again by the silence of Europa's icy plains. Above, the moon's surface glitters under the distant gaze of Jupiter. Its colossal presence casts shadows over jagged ice ridges and faint cracks, tracing the secrets hidden beneath. I pause to look back at the frozen crust. Somewhere below, life continues in its silent, miraculous dance. Currents carry whispers of conversation, laughter, and the quiet poetry of survival. The city beneath the ice exists not just as a haven, but as a testament to human ingenuity, to adaptation, and to the resilience of life in the most alien of environments. And as you sit there, wherever you are, perhaps with your own city lights dimmed, a soft blanket around your shoulders, or the night air brushing your face, imagine this: a world beneath ice, alive and vibrant, where every heartbeat of water sustains civilization, and every pulse of bioluminescence writes a story we are only beginning to understand. I invite you, one final time, leave a comment. Tell me where you watched this journey from. Did you watch from your bedroom, your balcony, or perhaps from a train in motion? Sharing these little details connects us across worlds, reminding us that even in the farthest reaches of imagination, connection is possible. As I close this journey, I leave you with a thought. Europa teaches us that life is not defined by light alone, but by the rhythm of survival, the pulse of curiosity, and the courage to explore the unseen. Every city, every current, every creature beneath that ice is a mirror, reflecting not just an alien world, but your own potential for resilience, creativity, and wonder. And now, as the icy winds whisper across the surface, we step back into our own world, carrying a piece of Europa with us. A reminder that even in darkness, life finds its way, and even in silence, stories await those brave enough to listen. Sleep, dreamers, and let the currents of imagination carry you far beyond your window, far beyond the moon, Far beneath the ice,